You're listening to the Casual Swinger Podcast. As your hosts, we need to warn you that the material you're about to hear may be sexual or explicit in nature. This podcast is intended for an adult audience. Now, we don't expect you to act like adults. What's the fun in that?
We're a married couple living in Florida with over 13 years of experience in the lifestyle, and we take almost nothing seriously. Casual Swinger is a variety show, meaning we'll cover everything from music to events, travel, and even the occasional hilarious screw-up. Our show is about entertainment. We're not licensed professionals.
Not anything.
And our stories, commentary, and guidance should not be confused with the opinions of a licensed professional.
Now that you know, let's take those pants off and get comfy.
Hey everybody, welcome back to another episode of Casual Swinger. My name's Mickey.
And I'm Mallory.
And this is trying again, second time, where we won't have people standing outside in the hallway raising hell.
So fun fact, we're recording remotely from New Orleans this week.
The great center of piss and desperation that New Orleans is.
And in a hilarious turn of events, there's been a multitude of noises happening in the hallway that we were picking up and having interference with. And I'm trying not to laugh too hard because I know you're annoyed.
I get deeply annoyed when our audio gets fucked up.
I mean, let's be honest, like your fuse, like your tipping point is a lot shorter than mine. Like our fulcrums are totally different when it comes to that stuff.
Straight fucking
so
comic
you totally
relief
did like Mad Dad walk out to the hallway like you're going to kick some ass and ground somebody.
I did. I was going to yell at somebody and tell them, damn it, get off my lawn.
Yeah, pretty much.
So it's totally me these days. But we've got some special guests joining us today on Casual Swinger from the great piss-soaked city of New Orleans. We have the beautiful Kate from Wanderlust Swingers.
Woo-hoo.
She's going to join us here in a few minutes. And, of course, our friend SoloSwingin from Twitter.
Yeah.
We wanted to call him Han Solo, but he didn't like that.
Yeah, I don't think that was a nice one. No.
I thought it was going to be great. So we'll catch up with him here in a few minutes, too. But we're going to talk about size today.
Size, and does it matter?
Oh, you know what? Yeah, that was a question we got here in New Orleans. Somebody
we did.
raised their hand. It's like, hey, does size matter? We're like, yes, sir. We know you have a big penis. Thank you for telling everybody.
Yeah, hilariously, because that question so did not belong in the conversation during the seminar. It was literally advertising that he has a big dick if anyone's interested.
That was literally what he did.
Yeah,
but you know, that's what happens.
We'll get into that in a little bit.
We do live crowd events. These sort of things happen, but we'll talk about that here in a little bit. But where we been? What we've been up to?
Oh my gosh, it's been a really busy travel summer for us.
Yeah, we just got back from the beautiful Park City, Utah.
Yep, definitely one of my favorite destinations I've ever been to with you as a couple, like on a vanilla. Like the Sunday, what was it? A Park Silly market was absolutely incredible. I fucking loved that. The gondolas, is that what they're called?
Well, yeah. So the closed-in ones are gondolas, and then you have the chairlifts.
All right, I'm not gonna lie, I pissed myself a few times.
Oh, the red pine gondola was absolutely amazing.
Yeah,
I think it took us up about 1,200 feet above the 7,000 feet we were already at.
Yeah, I thought I was gonna Looney Tunes in the little cart.
Fat ass almost died of oxygen deprivation.
Yeah,
what
you
actually
did. That was actually really scary. But like, I don't do heights and roller coasters. Like, there's just something broken in my brain as I've gotten older. And like, as we were coming over the one side of the mountain, like I could feel the blackness in the corner of my eye. And I'm like, don't pinhole, because if I start bobbleheading and sweating, I'm done. Like, I'm passing out.
I really didn't think it was going to be a problem for you, because I thought what I could see was the top.
Well, and you kept leaning into it and tipping the cart. And I'm like, oh my God, please
I wanted to look
stop
down.
Movement.
Well, I think the thing, when we went over that first top of the mountain and we were like 300-400 feet in the air, that's when you just shit a chicken.
Yeah.
You were done.
I'm glad I was brave and I did it. I really am, and I would do it again, but I would be lying if I didn't say I was not terrified, because I was.
Well, I've got some pretty awesome pictures that I took from that gondola that I will go ahead and throw on Twitter here before long if you guys want to check it out. It was definitely a dead zone for swingers. There were probably like 4 or 5 sets of swingers that reached out to us that do listen to the show or friends of the show. They gave us some really, really cool suggestions on places to go, get drinks.
Yeah.
No Name Saloon, High West Distillery.
Yeah, no, it was great. They had awesome food. Bars had great drinks. I did feel a little bit of a pariah, because like, even for me, I dressed more conservatively than I usually do, but I still felt like everyone knew like I was a vicious trollop. Like, every time we went somewhere.
You're not a trollop. That's awesome. It was fun though. I really enjoyed it. That was good travel for us. And of course, just before that, like literally just before that, we were in Palm Springs for Podcast-A-Palooza, which is the last time that we saw Kate and SoloSwingin. So that was pretty cool to get to see these guys twice in about a month.
So, yeah, twice in about a month. Isn't that incredible? Like, I feel spoiled at this point.
We are spoiled because, here in New Orleans where we are right now, there's a bunch of people that were at PCAP.
Yes.
Which is really how we ended up here.
It's like a little reunion, yeah.
Well, I had sworn off. I said we were never going to come back here again, but all our friends are here, so I was like, fuck, okay, we'll go.
Yeah. We're lucky ducks.
Yeah, it really didn't suck, but that was pretty amazing. So what else do we have going on? What's going on in the store this month? In case you guys are wondering, we got Lilo on sale. Lilo is 30% off for the entire month of July.
Yeah, Lilo's definitely up there in the premium brand echelon, but still a great value for what you get. So I highly advise checking out the store and seeing what Lilo products you might be interested in. I recommend the Smart Wand. If you're like me and you orgasm, you forget to turn off your vibrator and the batteries die. And this one only turns on kind of like the womanizer with pressure.
Yeah.
So there's a little conservation of battery life there. Also, it has a very healthy amount of battery life.
Yeah, it's fairly quiet too. Comes in medium and large.
Yeah, and unlike standard ones where it has a straight handle, this one's curved. And so is the head a bit. So from an ergonomic perspective, because, you know, I like to be comfy. I'm getting older. I don't want carpal tunnel from masturbating.
You're a woman of a certain age.
Yeah.
Is that what it is?
Yeah.
Yeah, all of 29.
Okay. Well, I'm not am I a cougar yet? Actually, that's a good question. I'm 38. Does that qualify as cougar? Do I have to
guess
be
it
40?
depends on whether you're talking to a 22-year-old or a 31-year-old.
Yeah,
you're a cougar to a 22-year-old. You're not a cougar to a 31-year-old.
I'm a cougar in training.
There you go. Yeah, and you could still take on a cub if you wanted.
Yeah. Do I have to talk to him?
That's the problem. I look at some of these girls and I'm like, oh yeah, you're 25 and you look all
God, they
great.
Did we look like that at 25?
I don't think I ever looked like that.
No, definitely not.
You did. I did.
No, definitely not.
And you look at him and you're like, wow, you're really hot. I want to get to know you better. And then I start to get to know him and I'm like, please stop talking.
Yeah. I also had a 4-year-old at 25, so no, I definitely did not look like that.
Yeah, maybe.
Anywho.
Anyway. But yeah, by the way, that Lilo wand you were talking about is one of the few wands that's totally submersible. So you can use it in the bathtub.
That's true. Hot tub, bathtub, shower. Mm-hmm. Cool. Yummy.
That's a unique wand in that regard, and also has a pretty good amount of horsepower for being. So.
And it charges fairly quickly. I think it's a couple hours is full battery.
Yeah, 2.5 hours of charge on about 40 minutes.
Love it.
I don't know why I know that off the top of my head, but hey, I own a sex toy store. So.
Nerd, love it.
Giant fucking nerd. But yeah, so Podcast-A-Palooza was a blast. Park City was a blast. New Orleans smells like pee, but all our friends are here. They're probably the ones peeing everywhere. And I'm like, everything smells like pee. It's because they're all running around in front of me pissing on stuff.
I mean, I did hear Kate went to bed at 7 o'clock after being day drunk one night. But
we got here and she was stumbling day drunk. It was great.
So good. What else do we have going on?
I don't really know. I think we're going to get back to Orlando here in a few days and kind of readjust the rest of the summer and see just how slutty your summer will be.
Yeah, I think it's definitely going to be slutty.
The slutty summer's been off to a good start.
It actually is, and I'm just going to go ahead and rip the Band-Aid off and make a quick mention here. So, for anyone, I've been found by a few friends of ours. So, just to be transparent, I have started an OnlyFans. This is something I've wanted to do. It's for me. I'm having a great time. If anyone's interested, you're more than welcome to check it out. More than happy to, but we're not going to use the podcast to use it as a sales funnel or pitch it or promote it. I just don't want to be disingenuous or
it exists.
Inauthentic. Yeah, it exists. MrsMilford.com. There you go. That's me. That's my face too. Actually, my face is out there now. I left my corporate job.
Our faces are out there now as of yesterday.
That's true. That's true. We were walking the streets, ran into John and Jackie of Open Love. And they asked about taking our picture, and we looked at each other. We're like, we can fucking do this now if we really wanted to.
Yeah. So in season 5, coming up here on Casual Swinger, we're not in the closet anymore. We're just going to kind of put our faces out there and kind of let it be whatever it is.
They're decent faces.
My company doesn't care. I mean, I sling rubber dicks.
That's true.
So
that's
no
true.
one cares.
That's true. And I just have to. I have to answer to me now. So I'm pretty excited about that.
Yeah, you're your own boss. And you're my boss. I do what I'm told.
Ooh, I like being bossy. That's kind of hot.
Yes, ma'am.
I'm already horny. Don't make it worse.
Right? You're over there. It's just like a slug in your chair.
I am. I'm trying not to drool all over Kate's chair in her room.
That's right. We are sitting here staring at Kate and SoloSwingin, who are being so silent and so cooperative.
They're actually kind of being shits because I saw them making hand gestures at each other, and out of the corner of my eye, I'm trying not to pay attention to them. I looked
at SoloSwingin. He made some sort of a hand gesture, and I thought I had to steal third. I didn't know why.
Just get them some semaphores.
Yeah, there we go. Oh, and we got some shadow puppets and some other things going on.
Oh, is that a donkey? I love donkeys. Yeah.
There we go. But all right, without further ado, we're going to bounce out of here from this intro now that you know all about Mallory's OnlyFans, which, yeah, that's a thing. And that's the only time we're ever going to talk about it on the show, frankly, guys.
Yeah,
so,
you might, maybe they'll see a like or something on our Twitter, but like I don't see
that's not what Casual Swingers about. It's not why we're here. So if you hear about it again, it is what it is, but it's not something we're hiding from you. It's just not really part of what Casual Swinger is.
Nope.
So, but totally of course, separate. Casual Toys will still be, and the other things we do will be, the travel things we do will be, and of course, Mallory's Slutty Summer will be part of our further conversations as we close out Season 4 here in the next couple of episodes and come back with Season 5 with our faces out of the gate. In the meantime, Mallory, do you want to tell everybody how to find us?
You know, at some point we should pre-record this so we can just insert it so I don't have to do it live every time.
No, it's more fun watching you do it live.
All right, guys, we are Casual Swinger everywhere. You can find us at casualswinger.com. Feel free to shoot us a message at podcast@casualswinger.com. You can find us on social media on Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, and YouTube. And if you'd like to check us out on the dating sites, that's Cassidy, SLS, SDC, and Double Date Nation.
Told you. You see, that's why we don't pre-record it, because you just comes out of your mouth like that.
Yeah, but I have to like close my eyes to think about it, and it's really weird.
You should hear the last episode where I had to do it at the end because you bailed.
I did listen to it, and it may be your ringtone now.
Oh, God. I thought the alabaster scrotum was going to be your ringtone. His drunken ass by the time we got to Whiskey of the Month.
That was a hot mess.
That's all right. But hey, folks, we'll be back in a hot second with SoloSwingin and the beautiful Kate from Wanderlust Swingers, where we talk about, does size matter? I'm sure I'll come up with some other sort of a episode title, like Giant Labia, Are They Roast Beef? No?
No. Just please stop.
Oh, she wants me to stop. We'll be back in a minute. See you soon. You've been listening to Casual Swinger.
Hey, welcome back to Casual Swinger. I'm your co-host, Mallory.
And I'm still Mickey. I mean, it's only been 8 seconds.
Yeah, I know, but still, welcome.
Hey, that's twice as long as it takes me to have sex.
Please don't say that. People are going to judge me more than they will judge you. So what are we talking about today? We're going to talk about size and if it does not matter.
Yeah, I guess it's a really large conversation, a huge conversation, very long, very wide, very thick.
And now you're advertising. All right, here we go.
No, it's funny. We were in a session with Kate here in New Orleans, and there was a guy who just kind of decided out of the blue. And we asked, does anyone have any questions? And he's like, I have a question. Does size matter to women? And he kind of stands there with this big cheesy grin.
Yeah.
And it's like, sure, dude, you have a giant dick and you just told the whole room. We understand.
Hilarious.
But it turned into a bit of a more interesting conversation for the room about size and just kind of understanding where people are. And it was interesting to see people in the room chime in. You know, you chimed in that you're like, getting to China on a rowboat's a bad plan.
And fun fact, Kate is here along with our friend SoloSwingin that are going to chime in on this conversation.
What up, guys?
But it was really hilarious to see us both kind of like, we're going to try to shut this shit down a little bit because that dude's just advertising.
Well, yeah, and keep control of the room, too.
Yeah.
But, I think it was interesting that you kind of came in on the side of, size is a good thing, and Kate came in on the side of, well, too big is a bad thing.
Well, my argument was that size does matter, right? Like anyone who says, no, of course it doesn't, they're kind of fucking lying. Because it doesn't matter if you're in a rowboat or you're on a fucking aircraft carrier. If you don't know how to drive the fucking boat, it doesn't matter.
Yeah, and of course, in this particular context, we're talking about penis. But, it's funny that I think what we did leave off in that room, and we're going to get SoloSwingin and Kate to chime in here in 2 seconds, but it's size is relative to the person who's experiencing it. So the Goldilocks principle applies here, that what is too big for someone is somebody else's jam. What's too small for somebody is somebody else's jam. You find the right person for you, and you guys get together like peanut butter and jelly, and it's off to the races. You're having a great time, and so is she. But that being said, Kate, how you doing?
I'm good, man. How are you doing?
I'm really good. You were just silent as a tomb over there.
Yeah, because the last time I interrupted your intro, and I remember you taking the piss out of me incessantly for months. So I was sitting here not doing that.
We absolutely did that. SoloSwingin, how you doing today?
I'm doing well. I'm definitely quiet because this is my maiden podcast voyage. You're taking my podcast cherry here, so
I love it. That's hot.
And you have the smoothest voice, though. Like you're just
pot kettle black. Thank you very much.
Yeah.
I'm just trying not to sound too much like Fraser Crane. I'm listening.
That's outstanding.
So good.
It's I'm often accused of being your brother, so I think it's kind of fun that we get to do this together.
I have no siblings, but if I had one, I would delight in having you as my sibling.
Oh, you guys
to you as well, my friend.
You guys are adorable.
Total bromance. Right here.
This guy is one of my favorites, and he is a single man in the lifestyle. Ladies, line up. Get you some.
Single file line, please, girls.
No, he'll take two at a time.
Oh, okay. Well,
he is a man of many talents.
I believe in you.
You know what? Mickey can be my maitre d' any day.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
I think he could take four at a time. He's got 2 arms, a tongue, and a penis, last I heard.
Let's do this. I'd pay to see that.
I have no comment.
I think he would die trying.
I believe in under-promising and over-delivering, and you're setting me up for failure is all I can
I left
tell
your
you.
feet out of it.
Thank goodness. My podiatrist thanks you as well.
So, Kate, during the conversation that we had in the ballroom, you really came out strongly on the side of that sometimes there's just dicks are too big.
Yeah.
Where the hell are you coming from with that one? I didn't think it was possible to have a dick that was too big.
Oh my God, it's so possible. And I mean, when we talk about size does or does not matter, interestingly enough, last night on my Snapchat, I got a guy messaging me asking about how big my pussy is. Not from a labia perspective, but from like a deep, wide perspective.
Did he want you to break out a micrometer and give like him a millimeters?
You know, and I guess it's just this misinformation that exists in sexuality. It exists in, I guess, people aren't discussing it enough, and therefore it's all about porn. It's all about these perceptions.
I was just gonna say, yeah. And
so I think that when we talk about size matters, obviously we're going to get deeper into other aspect of size matters, but I think this is where the whole P and V thing stems from, is that well, how big is your cock? How tiny is my pussy? And, this gentleman out of nowhere asked this question, and my response was absolutely, they can be too big. I have had guys that have hurt me. I've had guys that have it's been painful. It's not been pleasurable. I've had guys that quite simply just don't fit, regardless of how many gallons of lube and how much foreplay there is. So does size matter? I mean, the answer is black and white. Yes, it does. And I think the way that we go instantly is, does size matter because we're thinking about this on the smaller side, whereas my perspective is it does matter because I'm not taking a giant cock that looks like it's a baby's arm holding an apple.
Don't you think, though, from a size perspective on the male side, my perception is that they're constantly thinking of their dick size in comparison to everyone before, after them, the guy next to them, because they don't want to be the quote-unquote small guy. So that's where their mental state seems to be. Would you agree?
Yeah, and I mean, again, I don't have one, so I don't understand where that comes from. What I can say from a female's perspective is that I think we carry a certain amount of stigma and, again, misinformation with how big our pussy is. And, it's like that whole sausage down a hallway thing.
Yeah.
And so I find it interesting that somewhere along the lines from an adolescent to an adult, we pick up these ridiculous stigmas and we place that shit on other people.
Mm-hmm. We project. Of course we do, because then it gets further away from us as a person.
So I find the question interesting, but I also find that it's not a question that can be answered in a simple 10-minute conversation. It's a broader discussion, and it's a, why do you think that's your only value? Is that all you can bring to the table play-wise as well? There's so many things here, right?
Well, that was my response to the guy in the ballroom was, if that is your primary positive attribute that you are presenting to somebody, that's all you are. You are literally asking them to fetishize the one thing about you that you find valuable. And that's...
Or you're stating that this is the only thing I find valuable about myself, or the only thing I think you will accept of me. Yeah. That's a turn off.
I mean, and there's a certain kink involved in this too, and I don't know, SoloSwingin, you might want to kind of chime in here, but there is a legitimate kink on people talking about cock size. And I mean, when I'm fucking Daryl, when we're talking dirty, he's like, oh yeah, baby, tell me how I fill you up. And I'm like, your dick is perfect for my pussy. And we have these conversations during play. So I understand it from that kind of that kink perspective, and I guess I'm not yucking anyone's yum in that regard, but I think there's a fine line between, is it big enough, is it too small, is it performing, is it the right size, whatever, versus, I guess, fetishizing. I don't know, solo swinging, what do you think?
No,
Save me from myself.
No, I think you're saying it right. I mean, if you put it specifically in the context of a size discussion where someone's looking for a specific size or is turned on by a specific size, then having a conversation centered around size makes perfect sense. But I think it's the wrong question. Right? We say does size matter? And there's a not subtle implication there of I'm small, you're big, or am I big enough? And it's never the question. I mean, the question should be, in theory, what size cock do you like?
And how do you like it?
Conversation.
Wouldn't that be a much more interesting conversation? First of all, it shows attention to the person you're talking to.
Which is very important, especially from a single guy in the
lifestyle.
lifestyle.
What is your path to pleasure? Because maybe it's not penetration at all.
Whatever, but it doesn't presume that what they're inherently looking for, which you probably believe, whether it's the porn conversation or whether it's sociological or whether
So why is it? Like, as a single guy, like, if you're bringing this to the table, I mean, how are you interacting with other couples, other single ladies? I mean,
well, I mean,
why do you think it is?
I will say in 20 years or so of being in this world, I can probably count on the fingers of one hand the number of times I've had the conversation. And the one that sticks out for me personally was years ago with someone who is still a friend. We haven't played in years, but I knew that she had a history of playing with single African-American gentlemen who were well endowed. And so in that context, it made sense for me to raise to her, listen, if this is what does it for you, then I feel like it behooves me to say to you, listen, I'm nothing more than average.
Yep.
And if that's what you need, I won't be able to provide it, which led to one of the funnier stories that ever happened to me because we did, in fact, play. And when it was over, I said, sort of jokingly referencing our original conversation, I hope it was okay. She goes, oh, no, it's fine. You're girthy. And I said, I feel like the eighth dwarf. You're sleazy and dopey and dark and bashful and girthy.
Yeah, so you were very proactive in the conversation. So you presented it to her like, hey, I know this about you, so I'm just going to put it out there and make sure and protect or nurture the fact that you may need something else more than...
But without that, I probably never in a million years would have raised it.
Yeah, has anyone ever raised it to you, like come to you about and talked about dick size? Because I feel like I have never openly, outwardly asked about dick size. It's not been a primary concern of whether or not I'm interested in having sex with that guy.
I don't think anybody's ever proactively approached me. I mean, a great deal of my experience certainly has centered around naked resorts. So
I was about to say, is it because you're already naked, maybe? Like
you're already naked. I mean, this is sort of my mantra, which is one of the reasons why I spend so much time in these places and why I enjoy them so much. It's like, you've seen everything I have to work with, right? Now turn me on.
Yeah.
Right? Because
exactly.
like, it takes all of that away. And, do you have to get into the grower, not shower conversation? Because
that happens a lot, Hito.
Flaccid,
Does
you're not,
it?
flaccid, you're not that, you're not that impressive, but you can still get it done, so to speak.
Yeah.
When you get turned on, sure, okay, fine, we can have that conversation. But then again, at Hito, you can sort of find out on your own if you really want to know.
I'm going to make an inflammatory statement.
Oh, that never happens.
Never happened.
You're going to inflame something?
That's right. Ask Coqueta Caliente. I never have opinions.
I'll get you some cream for that.
Thanks. It's an inflamed statement. No, men talk about penis size way more than women do.
Yeah, I would agree.
I don't think about it.
I don't think that's inflammatory at all. I mean, I think that's true.
Well,
I think that's just facts.
We're neurotic messes about it, and they just don't care that much.
Yeah. And I think when we get neurotic about something, it actually takes them out of a positive sexual headspace.
But I will say that I think women out there are, and I don't want to use neurotic because I feel like that's somehow taking away from the very real concerns that we have, which is labia size.
Yeah.
So
you know,
as much as I think guys might think about, their cock size, I think that a lot of us women, we get brought up and we start to really get concerned about how we look and feel and present. And it is a little bit traumatic at times. I got to be honest.
It's stressful.
False narrative that's somehow grown among men that the more sex a woman has, the more wrecked her pussy becomes.
Yes.
And it looks like somebody took an axe to a pile of roast beef. And if you didn't have sex and you were somehow chaste about your behaviors, then suddenly you wouldn't have that. You'd look like you'd never had sex in the first place, and you'd have this perfectly smooth aerodynamic area down there.
Like your labia would recede into its natural
Right.
shell on its own?
Like a turtle.
Kind of. So, like, I think...
Or a snail.
I think this is the influence of porn, because porn for a long time, at least for me in my viewership, pussies looked like they had larger outer lips, and the inner lips were smaller, more tucked in, more tight, like concerned. Like I didn't see a lot of porn that had larger inner lips. Okay. So I feel like that's kind of like the mental image I had, and they present as maybe virginal or sweet, innocent, demure, all of these other things, and that's how they're presented to us to consume. So when I would look down and I'm like, I think that's not what guys are going to want, because it doesn't look like that. Like, I consciously remember as a teenager having that thought, because I totally watched my dad's porn.
I do wonder, and this gets into the weeds a bit, but it also, sociologically, I wonder if it has anything to do with the conversation around pubic hair. Because I'm old enough to remember, old smut mags, old Hustlers and things.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, Porkies, we have Bush.
I'm saying, so when pubic hair was very common in porn and magazines and things, I don't think we obsessed as much about how the labia itself or the vagina itself presented.
Yeah.
And if you look at those magazines, like, you have women, pulling back the hood of their clit in a picture, and their lips are every which way, and you didn't care. Somehow, I don't know if the hair distracted or it was part of the picture, but somehow I wonder this progression towards no pubic hair, which speaks also to your notion about virginity and all that sort of thing. Yeah. Maybe that created a hyper focus on, okay, well, whatever's left, we need to stare at that, and it needs to look a certain way.
Yeah.
And we all obsess over that more somehow.
I was... You know what? I was a cunt hair away, because we're talking about that. I was a cunt hair away from getting a labiaplasty a couple of years, maybe I want to say 10 years ago, maybe a decade ago.
A friend of mine just got hers done, and I literally have been thinking about it for months now.
Yeah, I was so close to getting it done, because again, what I saw represented as a female form, and we talk about the axe wound, the whole thing, was that my labia minora were larger than what was being represented everywhere that I was being seen.
Yes.
And, this is probably pre-Daryl too. My ex-boyfriend watched a lot of porn where, again, it was like the barely legal, whatever. I mean, we were young at the time too. We were like 20.
Sure.
But all of that porn was represented as the labia minora were inside. They were not showing outside whatsoever, or maybe just the tiniest little peek. And I was like, I'm not represented in any of this stuff. And if that's what my boyfriend is watching, that is what men want, and therefore I'm ugly. And I remember distinctly being in the lifestyle, and I actually it took me a lot, but I actually got on my knees. I was naked on the bed, and I literally grabbed my pussy, and I showed a couple, and I was like, I'm actually really concerned about this. And they were like, you have a beautiful pussy, but you don't know. You don't know until you look at other ones, because you think for some reason
in the eye of the beholder.
Yeah, but for some reason we all think that ours is like ugly. And I don't understand where that shit comes from. And that's the same thing with cock size, or boob size or nipple size or whatever it is. Like clit size, like we obsess about being the anomaly, being the exception.
Well, and so kind of, and only for a moment, going back to gentlemen, in the playroom, we go into the playroom, we take our pants off, and yet, Aikido, as SoloSwingin said, it's the great equalizer. But we go into that space, and you go to play on a bed, and you're next on a bed next to a guy that's huge. There's no guy in the universe that looks at that and suddenly feels comfortable whipping out what he's got to play, when he's looking at that, wondering if the person he's with would rather be with him.
I have a serious question I want to do around the room right now. I want to know, in a playroom, being around other people situation, how often you have looked at the same sex genitalia. Like, what percentage? How often do you look? Do you look? I'm curious. You go first.
If he carries it in a wheelbarrow, you can't help but notice, right?
But do you actively look?
No, I don't. I wouldn't say you actively look, because you're looking for a good spot. You're making sure it's clean. You're making sure it's a safe place to play with the people you're there to play with. I think as a guy, all of that comes before looking around to see if there's any bigger dicks than mine, for sure. But I don't think what I'm saying is you can't help but notice when there's somebody that is significant on one side of the scale or the other. And if they're significantly larger than you, I think that does call confidence into question for guys. Now, I think that may apply for women as well, which we find it equally ridiculous that you guys would have concerns about the size of your labia or your nipples or whatever, your clit. I mean, it's hilarious to hear that from you, and I hear it from both of you from time to time, and I'm like, what the fuck is wrong with you? Like, they're perfect just the way they are. The idea of labiaplasty to me is asinine to me, because there's no medical reason why you have to get them lopped off unless you're dragging them down the beach behind you.
I had an old flatmate, and she did have one that was significantly larger than the other, so she did get a correction done. Good for her. I'm all about it if it makes you feel any better, but I think the difference here is what was driving my decision was not from a place of, I want to do this because I want to make myself feel better. It was driving it because I want to do this because I'm broken, wrong, ugly. I don't know. Mallory, do you look around the room at other people's pussies when they're and judge them?
You look around the playroom and go, check out the beef curtains on that one.
So I'm going to call myself out here. I look at genitalia all the time. So I look at it Hito. I look at it at the fucking grocery store. Like, I don't know. Like, I think it's just something that's ingrained in me. I don't know that it's always really is not as much related to sex as I would consciously say so. Like, I just fucking I'm fascinated with genitalia. Like, I love it. I'm bisexual. I love cock. But also, like, everyone's shaped and looks differently. And, like, I think maybe in my head I'm taking stock and doing a law of averages, or, like, kind of like the vulva project. Like, just taking stock in what's different, what's alike, what's good. Like,
oh yeah,
checking those boxes or just making bullet points.
I love those. I love those things. You mentioned the Vulva Project, which is an illustrated book you can buy. There's the Vagina Project. They're on Instagram. They're online, and what they are is a celebration of female genitalia and how different all of them are. Yeah. And they're all ages, all sizes. Some have pubic hair, to SoloSwingin's point. Some don't, but they are all wildly different.
They are, and actually, like the Vulva Project specifically, because I started hormone therapy, and so my clitoris got significantly larger, and I was so fucking devastated. Now, granted, my orgasms were better, but like the first time I had to take my pants off in front of somebody I wanted to have sex with, I was fucking terrified. And I was like, please don't be afraid. It's not a microphallus. They're like, what? And I pulled my pants and they're like, what the fuck are you? It was almost hilarious, the reaction. It is hilarious.
Your clit's not that big.
But in my head, it's like the size of my microphone. And then it's just knocking around in my pants all the time. Like, everyone can see it.
Yeah, it's body dysmorphia for your clitoris.
Yeah, pretty much.
I love her. She's fantastic.
Yeah. But yeah, no, I definitely look at genitalia in it. But I'm also one of those people that constantly does, like, where do I stand in the
society
scale?
So you'll be looking at people and their outfits and their
unfairly rank myself somewhere between me and this other human.
Okay.
Yeah.
What about you, sir?
Well, first of all, I want to shop at Mallory's grocery store where she can stare at genitalia, because I want to know what grocery store.
It's called Cap d'Arc, and it's in France.
Well,
it's called Publix.
Publix.
No,
well
seriously, and I don't discriminate. Doesn't matter, male, women, age.
Lots of time around the frozen food section.
It's weird.
Clean up in aisle 5. Look, I won't lie and say that in a Hito scenario, I would say in the playroom, I'm not a big playroom guy in general. I don't spend a lot of time in playrooms overall, so I can't speak to that too much. But I won't lie and say that at Hito there haven't been times where I've seen some well-endowed gentleman show up at the pool and I've watched some woman who I like already, her eyes go there, and I'm like, just once I'd like a woman to look at me that way. And I know it'll never happen because I don't have that and never will. But I've had some experiences with that where, like, if I know the person and I've said something to them, and I think even once I said it to a friend of mine, I said, just once I'd like you to look at me the way you looked at that guy. and she said to me, oh, I was with him last night. It ain't all that. And it goes back to your original point, Mickey, if that's all you have to offer, then, again, for someone who that is the sort of to sound fancy, the raison d'etre for being in this world, then sure, that guy can fulfill that need for that person who needs to be with a big dick. Mm-hmm. But to reduce so many women's desire to be part of this to being with a big dick does a disservice to those women, because I've certainly found that in many cases it's a psychological high, it's a physical high of other varieties, whether it's somebody watching, not watching, hot wifing, whatever you're doing, it's fulfilling a different psychological need. So to reduce it only to a big dick is doing them a disservice. The other statistic, and I cede the floor to the ladies on this, but years ago somebody took me aside and said, the average length of the vaginal canal is 4 inches. Anything more than 4 inches, you're fucking your cervix.
And you're causing urinary tract infections.
Right.
Yep, it's
a whole thing. So I'm like, okay, well then, I will be content in my knowledge that I can fill a woman up without discomfort. And if she needs more than that, she can go to somebody else. But in general, I can do the job with what I've got.
There's also penis extensions. Do you guys have these in the store?
Oh, we do.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's sleeves.
There's sleeves. Yep.
Yeah. So how do we feel about that?
I don't know anything about this.
So it's a little. You know what? I mean, you run the store. You can talk about it.
Is it like a manicure? Can I get like gel and can I get?
Yeah, like little pink, glittery ones.
You get the pointy ones and the glittery ones. Yeah.
Can they match my outfit on a
ribs for someone's pleasure?
Some of them have funny faces on them.
Really?
Yeah.
No, essentially what it is it's a sheath that goes over your cock and provides an extension, and it potentially, depending on which one you buy, additional girth. Now, a lot of these will have
a combination condom and sheath. Could it do both?
No, it really isn't a condom. It's not. You should go on over a condom if you're going to do that. However, what it does is it does have openings along the base, the frenulum of the penis, which is just under the head. And that is exposed to allow you to continue to have sensation despite the fact that you're wearing a cover over your penis.
So basically you look like a gladiator. Your penis looks like a gladiator.
A Spartan, yeah.
Are you not entertained? Your penis stands up at the end and sort of... Does the woman give you the thumbs up or the thumbs down when it's over?
Well, I stand at the foot of the bed, put my hands on my hips and say, you may refer to me as Marcus Aurelius.
But, I mean, in all seriousness, like what you just said, if somebody desires something a little bit more, I mean, there are aspects and ways to do that with the partner that you're with without necessarily seeking another partner who has that huge cock, So you're still getting, and I'm sure that after you spoke solo swinging, there's probably a lot of ladies on the podcast who were like sploosh from just the intelligent conversation. But if you're wanting something more than the big dick, I mean, there are other ways to do that. Obviously, and there's tongues and there's fingers and there's, toys and everything else.
Giant dicks we carry in the store, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, I mean, the funny thing about toys, I remember the first time I was dating someone in the vanilla context, and we had been dating for a bit. So I had her at home, and she discovered that I had sex toys, and she couldn't fathom why I owned sex toys.
Really?
And I sort of walked her through it. She knew I was in the lifestyle, but she didn't really know of what that meant.
Sex toys for you as a male, or sex toys for females?
No, sex toys to use on women.
Ah.
And it's not like I have a huge collection, but I had a few. And we had gotten to a place where we could sort of speak openly about that. And I was like, well, in most cases, it was a sex toy that I had seen used on someone in a lifestyle context, and it had an extreme positive reaction. And I sort of said to myself, well, if this thing can do that, I don't know that I've ever brought a woman to that level of ecstasy. I should own that.
Should have that in my.
I should be able to have that in my toolkit.
I have
in your belt. Your utility belt?
In my utility belt.
There was a whole 80s montage thing that happened in my head with I Need a Hero playing in the background.
Well, I mean, Footloose is a favorite movie, so I'll take it. We've talked about that.
We did.
Absolutely. Let's hear it for the boy, and I Need a Hero. So it
all really works. Yeah. So I have a question for you guys, and we've talked about penises and labias. Guys, do guys have nipple issues, self-conscious about nipples? Because I know girls do. And I want to get into that a little bit.
I've only seen one guy at Hito that had freakishly long nipples, and it only got my attention because they were laying on his chest.
Do you even notice your nipples? Do you take stock in
my
your
nipples? I just don't want people to touch them. It drives me nuts.
My nipples frustrate me.
What do you need to know about this?
No, my nipples. I'll tell you why my nipples. Because I love boobs. I adore boobs.
I'm a fan since I was a baby.
And I love playing with boobs and sucking on boobs and all that sort of thing. And I always, friends of mine who, when they're contemplating getting their boobs done or something, like, whatever you do, just please, go you do the one that keeps sensitivity and all that. If I'm spending all my time there and you're just not registering at all, that's going to frustrate me no end. The problem is I have the most insensitive nipples, and I don't mean as a personality. I have the most insensitive
They're so rude.
nipples imaginable. Yeah.
Very offensive.
They're blatantly rude.
To wait staff.
But what happens is, to wait staff. So what happens is I spend my time, and I think there's a natural inclination. This is a whole separate conversation, but I think there's a natural inclination, especially if you're playing with someone for the first time, that they extrapolate from the thing you did to them that you may like it as well. So if I spend a lot of time on a woman's boobs and then the tables are turned and she gets her chance to go to town on me, she'll spend all this time on my boobs, and I sort of have to give her that dreaded tap that guys hate getting, and like, sweetie, it's not doing anything. I'm sorry.
So see this? Nothing.
Yeah, bubkiss.
I'm saying nothing.
Kate's over here thumping the shit out of her left nipple, guys.
Daryl has sensitive nipples, so you're right. I mean, if someone was playing with him and they would have come over to me, like it's fucking chalk and cheese up in here. I'm like, yeah, they don't do anything for me. They're just there.
They're just like
they're ornamental.
Come in Tokyo.
They're just there.
She's tuning in Brisbane. Come on.
Yeah.
I mean, they stand to attention, but it doesn't mean shit.
Well, it's funny because
play a game of whack fuck with your tit.
Mallory, we've met a few girls over the years that have longer nipples, and almost without fail, they're extremely self-conscious about it.
Oh yeah.
I dated a girl long before I met you that had the longest nipples I've ever seen, and I'm not going to be honest, I was shocked by them when I took her bra off because I'd never seen nipples like that in porn. I'd never seen them in the magazines that I hid from my grandmother behind her hairdryer. She had one of the sit-down hair dryers that goes down.
I was going to say, what?
Yeah, well, she was a hairstylist, so she had like the hair dryer chair.
Yeah.
And I used to hide my mags in her hair dryer because nobody ever used it. And
you grew up in Steel Magnolias, basically.
Very much so.
Yeah, actually.
Okay. Very much so. Well, it was really good until they went to move the chair one day and all my mags fell out long after I had moved out of the house. I blamed it on my grandfather.
I was going to say you totally did not
did.
one. You did not fess up to that. No chance.
They all knew it was me, but I blamed him anyway.
You're such a shit.
I am. Blame. It's the American way. But anyway, the gist of it is when I saw these the first time, I really wasn't sure what to do. Should I pay more attention to them, less attention to them? Am I going to make her self-conscious by calling them out? Am I freaked out by it? And I'm going to be a little honest. At first, I was. But I was younger. I was inexperienced. I hadn't seen what I've seen at this point. Today, would I be? No. What my question, I guess, is as women, do you want something that is noteworthy about yourself, that does stand about yourself, whether it's larger labia or a bigger clitoris or bigger nipples? Do you want special attention paid to it? Or if you don't, do you say something? If you do you say something?
That's a good question. So, yes and no.
All right, that's going to help the listeners.
Mallory for president, 2027.
You're welcome. You asked like 5 or 6 different questions in there effectively. So it's very specific to what we're talking about. So like my lips, for example, my labias, fine, play with them. Like don't chew on them. But if you pay special attention to them, I do like it, but I don't necessarily crave it per se. My clit, now it's more sensitive. So there's like a different approach.
Well, I mean, there's nerve endings around there, right?
Yeah. And like it's more pronounced. So someone who is obviously not engaged with a clit like that protrudes, because for a lot of our play, for example, we play find the clit. We have to chase that little guy around a lot.
Do you think those girls are just as self-conscious, by the way, if their clit is like a micro clit?
I think and I find that they're just frustrated because they have challenges in getting off, utilizing those nerve bundles that you're chasing around. Me, it's the opposite. Like you can't go too hard too soon because like that's a lot of nerve bundles exposed like right there, and it doesn't always require direct contact. So I'm very verbose when it comes to that. My nipples, it's kind of hit or miss because like sometimes in the throes of passion, I'm like, oh yeah, suck on them harder. But like if we're playing around and it's just standard foreplay, I don't even know that I want them like touched per se. Like maybe grazed, but not necessarily like fondled with. Yeah. But you know me, I'm very vocal. Yeah. I'm very confident in being vocal, but I don't know that I have to be.
So I'm currently reading What's Your Nipple Type and Other 24 Facts About Nipples. Because, multitasking. It says here that there were 4 to 8 types of nipples, and they can be flat, protruding, introverted, unclassified. It's also possible to have one breast with a protruding nipple and one without.
Yeah, like an innie and an outie.
Mm-hmm. It says, it talks about like introverted nipples are normal as well. I also want to say...
Is it like Myers-Briggs for nipples now?
Yeah, it is. And I also want to say...
INFJ?
It says, number 6, and I won't talk about this anymore, but this is on healthline.com. Nipple hair is real. I just want to mention that. I have never really... I think not necessarily my nipples, but definitely areola have been a consideration, and the ratio of areola to my breasts have been a consideration. And I know other women who either feel like they have, it's darker or it's bigger. I was going
to say the color as well.
The color, the size, the ratio. I think all of those things come
Texture,
into play.
Whether it's smooth or has
little bumpies on it. Yep. And then I think also Kay from that Couple Next Door podcast has larger nipples.
Yeah.
And she used to joke around about how she can hold like 5 CDs on her nipples. She probably needs to get a new reference because like CDs are so,
Oh yeah, the kids today are gonna be like 5
early 2000s. But she spoke about the fact that, since joining the lifestyle, she came to realize that at the beginning she would almost apologize to the people she's playing with for her larger nipples. Now she's like, I've seen them in all shapes, colors, sizes, whatever. And so she kind of feels a little bit more confident about them now.
Kay's hot as fuck too, so there's that.
Yeah, so I think it really matches her body. I think it matches her hips, and I think it matches her butt and everything else. But me specifically, I don't have a problem with my nipple size, areola to breast size. I will say right now, I don't like my boobs. My right one especially. It can just get the fuck out.
Is it just an asshole or?
It's bigger and it's sagging a little bit more because I've got like more fat on, and obviously when you put more weight on your boobs and other things, they get bigger. So I'm not liking them in general right now, but I've always felt okay about my nipple to areola to breast tissue ratio.
Got it. Is that something that causes you, or any of these things, so whether it's labia, clitoris, nipples, cock size for us, does it slow us down when we go to sleep with somebody?
Is anything in that a deal breaker for anyone?
Yep.
Really?
Make you do where you don't want to show your parts to somebody, so you just don't play?
Yeah, 100%. 100%. It's, I wear certain outfits right now, especially, again, my right boob, my poor right boob that cops it. I will wear an outfit and I'm like, no, because of my right boob. Oh, I will like go to a playroom or go to a club and I'm like, nope, don't want to do that because of whatever self-conscious reason that I'm feeling in that moment, in that time. And it may not be something that carries over to the next week or the next month, but in that moment, does it stop me from playing? 100%.
How about you, Mel?
I don't know that it has.
Yeah, you just go.
I mean, I'm self-conscious about it, or I'll mention it. The way I deal with stuff like that is I make a joke, usually off color, self-deprecating, and then I move on. But I don't know that it's ever stopped me from playing. When I lost weight and my boobs were smaller, I think that was the most self-conscious I ever felt. So, I take my bra off and I cover my boobs. I distinctly remember doing that before I got my boob job. But I don't know that it stopped me.
Yeah, I was going to say, I don't. I mean, we in another bit of unfairness where men have an unfair advantage in so many ways, but in this one in particular, we can't do the comparison as obviously, at least on the boob thing, right? I mean, I have no idea what his dick is like. If I see a couple and I'm worried how I will measure up, I can't know unless I've been hanging out at Hito or someplace like that where I've seen the gentleman naked. So that doesn't really enter it. I think all sorts of other body issues and body positivity enters into it. I think we've all had a moment in our lives where we've said, "Oh, she's out of my league," or "He's out of my league," kind of thing. And I do that for any number of other reasons that have nothing to do with dick size. I'm like, "Oh, she's married to that guy. That guy's ripped. That guy's whatever." There's no way. And now in 20 years, I've learned that can go out the window very quickly, and it's one of the reasons I love the lifestyle. But it's not specifically related to the topic at hand, which is dick size.
Yeah. No, I think it does size matter, and I think it's a really good time to break because you just mentioned abs, and I think that's a whole other fucking rabbit hole we can go down.
Well, there you go. Sure.
Well, okay. Shirley, so we actually did an episode this season talking about just kind of not just body issues, but just self-confidence issues and discovering your own self-confidence and how we let our fears about ourselves allow us to make decisions for other people. We tell ourselves they don't want us, so they don't have to. So they won't ever do it to save us for the embarrassment of being told no. And I think things like dick size, things like other, sexual body part size, frankly, the size of my belly, right? It's, if I'm looking at a guy who's got a perfect six-pack and I don't, yes, I got a bit of a dad bod, ladies, sorry to tell you. But, the reality is there's a lot of times where I'll look at somebody and go, there's no chance she'd be into me. I'm going to save her the trouble. I'm going to tell her we're friends. I'm going to friend zone myself, and I'm going to take myself out of the game. We've talked about this ad nauseum here on Casual Swinger.
Hey, Honey Spoon, how you doing?
Yeah.
Yeah. Honey Spoon's a great example.
Yeah, fun mention in our seminar.
Yeah, you did get mentioned in the seminar, Honey Spoon, just so you know.
Well, and I'll just say, I don't know, I haven't listened to all the episodes, so I don't know how many single men you've had on the podcast in the past, But that rings true even more for me, because for better or worse, in couple situations, there are plenty of guys who can lean on their wife, or vice versa sometimes, in those scenarios to go, yeah, okay, maybe I am not confident enough, or I don't think I'm in their league, but I know my wife is.
Yeah.
And that's going to be my crowbar, so to speak, in a very crass way of saying.
Well, there's plenty of guys that do that in the lifestyle.
But in my case, I take myself out of it because I'm like, it's just me. All I have to offer is me. So either she's into me or she's not. And I will say to myself, there's just no way. I can tell from who she's with. And that was, probably earlier in my life. And you've come around to this notion of just because she has an Adonis, let's say, doesn't mean she always wants an Adonis. Doesn't mean she can't be attracted to somebody who isn't an Adonis. Doesn't mean she can't be attracted to my brain. Doesn't mean she can't be attracted to my sense of humor or whatever it is. And thank God for that. But it's also why the vanilla world bores me now, because the vanilla world is so superficial. And that's why it's you can't get behind that.
I love that about you, but also it's kind of rude to make up somebody's mind for them without even asking 100%. Them, right?
But yet we do it. It's unavoidable human nature, even though it is in fact.
I know.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's the great part about being married to Mallory is every guy thinks he has a shot after he looks at me. He's like, "Yep, I'm in."
I'm sorry.
That's not true.
I'm going to cue the violin section right now.
And he's got it so rough. Poor guy. You never answered your own question.
What was that?
Has anything about size ever stopped you from playing?
No. Well, okay, yes. Yes, it has. Not dick size. It's one of those things where, I'm not a horse or anything, but I'm fairly blessed to be better than average in that regard. So
yes, you are.
I've never worried about it. Sure, there's guys bigger than me, but half the time those guys are getting looked at going, fuck no.
Yeah.
So I'm cool with where I'm at. I'm somewhere between Goldilocks and the Big Bear, and I'm happy with that. That works for me. But yes, obviously my physical size has stopped me. Being concerned about guys being in better shape than me has stopped me. Things like, my teeth have stopped me before when I get self-conscious about my teeth.
That's funny you said that, because I get self-conscious about mine as well, because I have this one little snaggle that just doesn't want to do anything, no matter how many times I've had braces or corrective gear and whatnot. I got a snaggle.
Yeah.
Like this one little derpy tooth.
Well,
and
I feel
so
like
I
my
always
teeth are
smile.
huge too.
I always turn my head and smile in a specific direction. So
so I have definitely stopped myself for different reasons that are related to size, physical size, body attributes, but usually not genital. Hell, I've stopped myself because I haven't had a haircut and I feel like my head looks too big.
That's actually something new, because you just recently kind of had hair since the whole quarantine thing happened. So now you're definitely self-conscious about that at times. You cannot miss your haircut.
Yeah, I will not go to an event if my hair's grown out.
You're hilarious.
Yeah.
But I totally feel you. I'm not trying to be
It's a
insensitive.
thing. That's right.
Does it grow in purple now? Is that official?
No, it doesn't. No, that's a thing. That's just so it doesn't go gray. It makes me look younger.
Oh.
No, so when we talk about some of these size things, we're talking about obviously things like dick size, things like labia, things like how loose is a girl, but we really skimmed over the whole clit thing a little bit. Now, we talked about the small ones, and I think we call those runners, right? Because you got to chase it all over the place.
Yes.
Now, you're bisexual, Kate, and SoloSwingin. You're not, but you do. You're the fan of the clitoris. So
absolutely. Chapter president.
Have we all encountered a runner before? Do we all know what I'm talking about when I say a runner, like a clit that you just, it's there, now it's over here.
Like a cat chasing a laser pointer.
Yeah, yeah, that's perfect, actually.
Yeah. Now, would you, and I'll ask both of you, or all three of you actually, as bisexual women and a very, very big fan of the clitoris, which do you prefer? Do you prefer a larger clitoris that's, you can find it, you don't have to be Batman to find it, you know exactly what
Kate from Australia. I prefer a lady that tells me what she wants. I don't, for me, clit size, small, big, medium, to the left, hanging down low, whatever it's doing, matters not to me. What matters is the fact that I'm already stressed trying to pleasure a woman. It makes me so fucking anxious that I don't, I just wanted to tell me what's going on. I wanted to tell me what's feeling good. I want her to give me direction. I want her to her body to move in a certain direction. I want her to vocally tell me. I want her to moan and give me signals. That's it for me. It's not about the clit. Whatever it's doing, it's all very well and good wherever it is, but if she's not giving me fucking direction, then it matters not. It's a moot point. Mic drop.
Yeah, no, here. I could not agree more. The nonverbal and verbal communication of pleasure is way more important than the aesthetic.
So you don't have a preference in terms of whether it's a runner or easy to find, as long as she's telling you whether it feels good or not.
Yeah, but just because it's easy to find doesn't mean that you're going to get her off.
Right, and fun fact, it doesn't mean the clit is going to get her off at all. Like, some girls don't get off from clitoral stimulation. Sometimes it's pressure, sometimes it's only intravaginally. Like, really depends. So again, the clit, it's like what it looks like and its size is kind of irrelevant.
So when it comes to vagina, size does not matter.
No, not for me.
All right. How about you, Solo?
I'm inclined to agree with all of that. I mean, I was actually just unexpectedly with someone who I've known for years and never played with, and she's been having major back trauma, and it's resulted in lack of sensitivity in her clitoris, of all things. And I'm sure those
that's a nerve
with
issue,
stronger knowledge of physiology
Yeah.
and neurology can speak to that. But she was basically very upfront with me. She's like, I haven't had a clitoral orgasm in like 2 years.
Oh my God.
Mallory would literally die.
I might actually.
It'd be a new level of hangry.
So you know, but I agree with the spirit of everything that's been said. I don't. Yeah. I think the only time it could become frustrating to me is if it's somebody who has an unusually small clitoris and you're searching for it and you don't get any visual cues, yet you think you've done all the things that you know how to do to find it. You know, you've pulled back the hood of the clit, you've tried right, you've tried left, you've tried upright, up left, you've tried down, you've swirling, you've tried every thing you may know how to do, and you're still not getting that spot that you're used to hitting, where you get the arched back and you get the soft moan and you get the thing you want that you're going to come back to get her off eventually. And
it's the Street Fighter combo: left, down, right.
Yeah,
circle.
the cheat code.
It's up, down, left, right, BA, select, start.
Yeah.
There you go. So the cheat code for the clitoris. So you've tried everything, including the cheat code, and you still haven't gotten that. Then you're like, oh God, what do I have? Like? Then you sort of say, please just tell me where it is. Draw me a map. Do something. But otherwise, no, I don't think the size is completely irrelevant. It's all result based. It's all about knowing that it's working.
So for the ladies on this one, have you noticed any correlation to guys with average or smaller penises being easier to get off than guys with bigger penises? Maybe the nerves are closer together?
I have to think about that. I've never...
No, I've not really. Honestly, I have not noticed any differential. I mean, if you're talking about foreskin versus not, I mean, that's probably part of it too. I've noticed it a little bit more there than, in sensitivity wise and guys that, don't wear jocks versus do wear jocks and that whole thing. I think that can play probably a part in getting off. But I mean, also it's a fucking mental game too, right? So I mean, really, like physiologically, I don't know.
Yeah, no, I don't. I could not. I would have to sit down and run through my sexual adventures.
Jesus, that would take some time.
I know, right? And we don't have that kind of time. We're almost out now.
We're doing a telethon. How much have we raised so far?
I don't know that there's a correlation there for me. I would actually have to get back to you, but I have a question for you, Kate. What about scrotum ball size and ratio to penis size?
Like a Nazi sitting on a beach ball?
I would be lying to you if I didn't acknowledge that every time I note all of those things. But I like balls very much so.
So Daryl has actually had testicular torsion twice in his life.
Oh my God.
The fuck is that?
It's where
it's
twisted balls.
So bad you should Google that shit.
It's horrible.
No, I'm not going to Google that.
I want to have sex later, please.
So he's had testicular torsion twice, different times, and what that resulted in was him actually getting his balls stitched up.
Okay.
So he has very tight, very nice ball to cock ratio, and I love it. I love his balls.
Uh-huh.
And I had never been with a guy who had like longer, bigger. I just hadn't seen a lot of diversity in ball shape, size, and everything else that kind of goes along with that. And You know, which is weird for me because when you think about boobs and they come in all these different amazing shapes, sizes, whatever, and they move to the left and they hang down here and they do their thing. I hadn't experienced that a lot with balls until I joined the lifestyle. And I remember years and years ago, the flatmate of mine telling me that when they were fucking in doggy, that the guy that she was fucking, his balls would slap her clit.
Yes.
From behind. And I was like, I don't understand. Like, that to me was such a foreign concept because I'd never been with a guy that was like that. So I probably actually pay more attention to a guy's balls than I actually did to his dick.
Yeah, same.
Wow.
And I don't mean to randomly now give people a whole other set of fucking things to worry about
You're
right
going to get
now.
ball pics, unsolicited ball pics now.
Yeah, no, that's fine.
But I do. I mean, for me, like Daryl has, and they will never sag now. Like they're stitched up. Like they're very tight. It's a whole thing, and I it's very aesthetically pleasing to me. His ball cock situation that he has going on.
Daryl, we know now that you are aerodynamic.
Do you guys register or acknowledge like your balls ball to dick ratio, any like that, or when you're in the playroom? Someone else decides someone else's balls. I feel like you guys
when they're in the way. Yeah, we hit them accidentally.
I feel like guys find them irrelevant from an aesthetic perspective.
I mean, other than manscaping, no. I really pay little to no attention to my balls.
Fair enough.
Yeah, literally. I mean, you just yank them down about 1.5 feet and then give them a nice shave.
I did have a corollary question to the one you asked earlier. This is actually born of an insecurity that I had when I was much younger. But do you find any correlation between dick size and skill at oral?
I mean,
that's an interesting question.
And I'll just say parenthetically, because I mentioned the insecurity. I'll just say I when I was first becoming sexually active and knew that I wasn't particularly well endowed. Again, what I found out was nothing different than average. But at the time, I was incredibly insecure about it, and so I set about to get
Learn
good
more, do
at
more,
oral, get her off, make sure she gets hers, and then everything else is gravy.
I will say that, especially this question that came from the seminar, and I don't mean to stereotype here, I kind of do, but I would say that for the guys that have been, not necessarily maybe dick size, but for the guys that have been unable to perform in the bedroom, that's it for them. They're just checking out entirely. And it is so silly to me because I'm like, I am not just my pussy. Like, I have hands, I have my mouth, I have my fucking feet, if that's what you're into. And so for me, the whole concept of like that one part of your body either being performing or not, or big or small, it is so strange that like that is the thing you focus on. So I would honestly say that for the men that have been unable to perform, or the guys that think that their cock is big and that's their only playing card, they probably don't spend enough time on foreplay. You know what? They don't even fucking spend enough time on asking me what it is that I'm interested in and can they fulfill my desires. So I would say that there probably is a little bit of ego involved there in people that might have that, and then they don't want to find out anything else about you or your pleasure or how to do anything else. I don't know. Mallory?
God, no. Not that it has a correlation to size. And I think it has to do with the confidence and enthusiasm more than anything else. I think somebody's personality type. I do make a decision in the moment whether or not they're good at oral. Like having conversation with them, if they're warm sense of humor, that's more where I make the correlation versus dick size.
We've also heard people look at guys on the dance floor, they can tell if they can fuck, right? I think we've all heard that at some point. If you watch a guy on the dance floor, I bet you can tell if he can fuck. So
someone's gait.
So if he can talk, he can lick pussy. He can eat pussy.
Yeah, or sing. Like, sing. Can you are you good at that? Like I think about those things, but I don't know that I've actually made a correlation. But like somebody's gait, how they walk, male and female, I'm like, I bet they're good in bed. I don't know why that registers with me, but it does.
I would almost argue that people that are good listeners, whether they're men or women, are better in bed because they actually pay attention to you, what you're saying.
So ear size.
Ear size.
Since this is a conversation about size.
That's right. Fuck 80-year-old people. They have giant ears.
Brain size, ear size, vocabulary size.
Yeah.
Size matters, apparently. Just depends what we're talking about.
But more doesn't always equal better.
Yeah.
Right?
Fair.
I think that's...
And less doesn't as well. Less doesn't as well. Just because somebody is a size... Fuck, I don't know what it is in American speak. we would say like a size 6 model in Australia, but I think that's probably like a 0 here or some shit.
Probably.
So
We're
more is not
and
better,
skinny
but
here.
equally less is not better. And that can be from a physical standpoint of like, oh, you know, she's fit and she's whatever, versus like maybe I got some hips and maybe I got some of my thighs and, you know, my booty hangs a little bit lower than my white shorts at lunchtime.
Holler, that's me.
So basically, the conclusion then is that quantitative is just simply not a good assessment for almost anything.
Yeah, and
In
I will put that in a
realm.
way that people that, you know, probably don't have a master's in English can understand a little better by saying that size matters, but it's not holding you back. Size isn't the reason you're not happy. Size isn't the reason that you're not getting what you want. There's something else.
It doesn't propel you forward equally.
No, it doesn't
So
push
we're
you forward,
size,
it doesn't push you
we're
back.
saying size matters, but it's not going to be your saving grace
Yeah.
or at your detriment.
You know what? I do kind of wish though that girls with big labias had the same confidence of guys with big dicks.
I know, right?
Like, I would
kinda
just
wish-
love to
I like,
see that.
I like a little bit of meat down there. I like something to play with. I think it's hot.
Meaty. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, if I look down there and I honestly, you know, it's one of those things because, you know, obviously pubis is a thing of the past today. And I think that when you look down there, if it looks, you know, like hardwood floors and there's no meat to speak of and there's just this little slit there, I mean, I have no confidence unless I know you that you're older than 12. Like, at least give me
Also, you make a
something
good
down there
point.
that shows me you're a
Make
woman.
a good point. Like, you do have to go, okay, so how do I approach this? Because, I mean, it's not like you can blow raspberries on it. That usually doesn't work. But,
Yeah.
I want to believe there is a bean to flick.
Yeah.
Right? Let me flick
I
this
need to
bean.
find the magic bean somehow.
And a bean of significance is a beautiful thing.
I want a needle point with that, please.
A bean of
A
significance.
throw pillow with a needle.
There you go.
Confucius say a bean of significance is a
Well,
beautiful
we have
thing.
run out of time here. I want to thank both Kate from Wanderlust Swingers and SoloSwingin for joining us in this conversation about size from New Orleans, Louisiana. We are going to go find some booze. I think Mallory wants to get laid, so we're
I
going to do
do.
something about
Please.
that.
It's all this discussions about clitoris and like,
I know.
What's
My
happening
pussy's
around
like,
the
What
waka,
could
waka,
possibly
waka.
have gotten her going?
I know, right?
I have no idea. Plus, our good friend SoloSwingin's got a flight to catch, so we're going to bounce out of here. Thank you guys so much for joining us. Mallory, before we get out of here, you want to remind everybody how to find us one more time.
Sure thing. We are Casual Swinger everywhere. That's casualswinger.com. Feel free to shoot us a message at podcast@casualswinger.com. Hey, are you enjoying the show? Because if so, please feel free to give us a review on iTunes. You can also find us as Casual Swinger on social media. That's Twitter, Facebook, YouTube, and Instagram, as well as the dating sites. That's SLS, SDC, Cassidy, and Double Date Nation.
That'll do it, folks. Thanks for joining us on this conversation on size. You've been listening to Casual Swinger.